T&D Sports, an exclusive video broadcast.
Welcome everybody to Babylon High School for today's girls lacrosse matchup between the West Islip Lions and the Babylon Panthers. This broadcast is brought to you by the Lessings Hospitality Group. We appreciate everybody tuning in today. My name is Charlie Rizzuto. We are awaiting the arrival of Vanessa Windsor, who'll be doing our play-by-play. She'll be here any minute. But I'm going to bring you the starting lineups for today's game. First, for the West Islip Lions, highlighted by the Oblige family. You see Jenna, Ava, and Kaylee, all there are the starting lineups. Also, one player to highlight is Courtney Zippolitis for the West Islip Lions. Now for the Babylon Panthers. Babylon coming off their county championship last year. One player to highlight for them is Grace Varley. We'll be talking a lot about Grace today, and we're going to highlight her a little bit later in today's broadcast. We'll be right back.
Located in the heart of Cold Spring Harbor, Sandbar features a polished coastal casual ambiance that creates a sleek backdrop for elaborate American cuisine from both the land and the sea. Scan the QR code above and type in LI Sports for 10% off your next meal.
Finnegan's Restaurant and Tap Room is where Huntington Village has been meeting, mingling, and making memories since 1912. Make your next memory at Finnegan's from now until June 15th and receive 10% off your next meal when you mention LI Sports.
And we are back talking about the spotlight players tonight. For West Islip, Courtney Zippolitis, number 8, midfielder as well as a defender. She is committed to Towson University. Coach says that Courtney, she leads with poise and contributes both on and off the field. She's an upperclassman that shows leadership. She has a lot of depth in the midfield. She keeps an eye on everyone, making sure everyone's settled on defense and offense. Is very dynamic in transition and it consistently sparks momentum this season. A senior leading with poise, committed to Towson. Our next spotlight player is Grace Varley, number 18. She is also defense and a midfielder. Coach says the defense is going to take home this win. And we are at the first draw. And first draw goes to West Islip. And that's going to be a goal very early on for West Islip, making it 1-0 right off the draw in transition.
Yeah, West Islip wins the draw, pushes early offense right away, has numbers coming through the restraining line, kicks it out to the attacker on the wing, who immediately gets her eyes inside, finds the goal scorer, one cradle into the back bottom corner. Nice play, nice way to start the game.
Definitely was. And just like that in lacrosse, takes less than 15 seconds to score a goal.
Yeah, let's see if Babylon can match it. But yeah, the draws are going to be big today, as they are in any girls lacrosse game or lacrosse game in general, whether it's girls or boys. Possessions can obviously help tilt the, the weight of the game in one way or the other.
All right, looks like Peyton Boyd for Babylon is on the draw, number 22. And for West Islip, we have number 7, Ava Obage.
Francesca Tefano was the goal scorer on that last break.
All right, draw's going to go to Babylon. They really needed that one after that really early on goal. Really trying to get it over the 30 into that transition by switching the field.
Yeah, West Islip doing a really good job applying pressure in there, redefend, dropping back on defense.
All right, Babylon choosing to utilize the X spot. Spreading out pretty wide.
West Islip's in his zone.
So really the key to this zone is really moving that ball fast, and that's going to be shooting space.
Yeah, to your point, Babylon did a nice job swinging the ball quickly out wide, attacking the seams in the zone and getting the shooting space call.
All right, number 14 on the 8-meter, Lily Krogel, midfielder. And that's going to be a goal for Babylon. Number 14, Lily Krogel.
Yeah, as we watch the replay, you see Lily do a really nice job pushing to her left, creating more net, creating more angle for her to shoot, protects her stick from the check, and just pushes the ball back to the backside of the goal. You don't need a lot of speed on a shot like that. You just got to put it to a good spot, especially if you get the goalie moving laterally from one post to the other. Shoot it back where the goalie came from.
We now have a 1-1 game very early on. Back at the draw. And that draw is going to go to West Islip. Looks like they're looking to speed on transition again. Number 7 looking to see who's open, and she just rips it. What a beautiful goal by number 7 for West Islip.
Yeah, number 7, that's Ava Oblage. That's her second point today as she assisted on the first goal. Right, pushing left-handed, switches hands right through the top of the 8-meter, 45-degree angle. Gets her hands back and hits that near side high right-hand corner. That's a great spot on a right-handed goalie.
You can tell this kid wants it. She comes right off this draw circle, and she's not scared to dodge defenders. Oh, we're going to go for a no goal. I wonder what that is. Let's rewind this here. That defender.
Yeah, grazed the head, and maybe as she continued down it may have even hit the leg of the defender.
It's just basic rules of girls lacrosse. If you hit the head, it's going to be an automatic yellow. Really unfortunate. Maybe in a couple of seconds earlier, if she had ripped it, it probably wouldn't have been a yellow card.
Yeah, for sure.
That's going to be really good for Babylon. They're going to be able to play up here, and they still have transition going on and possession.
Yeah, they're going to push here.
And that's going to be a goal. Looks like they took a play out of West Islip's playbook.
Yeah, they were watching their opponent early in the game there, right? Pushing early offense, moving the ball quickly, finding the girl on the back, on that near side post. Right, just takes one step to increase her angle, shoots it over the top of the goalie. That's a good decision. Shows a lot of poise there on the finish, right? Doesn't panic. The slide coming from the middle, shows some poise, takes one step to increase her angle, finishes over the top of the goalie.
That goal scored by Mia Nicolosi. Great post-up goal.
Yeah, and I'm curious to see if Babylon continues to try and push early offense, right? So when you're offensive-minded, when your opponent is playing a zone defense, one of the best ways to attack a zone is early in a possession before they could get settled into their zone and settled into their spots.
Yeah, especially with this yellow card playing a man up.
Yep, for sure.
Looks like West Islip's going to be able to take this draw. And they're still going for it even though they're a man down. And that's going to be a goal for West Islip.
Yeah. Again, early offense, fast break, playing with your head up and your eyes inside. Goal scorer there was number 10, Caitlin Messina. You see number 9, Francesco Tofano, pushing transition. Caitlin actually, she doesn't even backdoor her defender. She cuts right across her defender's face, shows a nice left-handed target. Ball hits her stick right above her shoulder. That's an easy position to receive a ball from, turn and shoot. That's a great play by West Islip. Babylon's still up 1. Big draw here.
All right, draw's going to go to Babylon. Looking to push.
It's a good look inside.
Great stop by West Islip's defense. I think they saw that one coming.
Yeah. It's a good look in the middle. Babylon still up a player, putting pressure on there in the redefend.
Great clear by the goalie.
Yeah, great show by Barbara in the clear as well.
It's going to be a turnover.
It's an errant pass on the sideline. West Islip in possession.
All right, looks like for the first time, West Islip looking to kind of slow it down here, get big, and get it around.
Yeah, trying to kill the remaining time on that card, get to even. Babylon choosing not to pressure. Right, there's always debate in situations like this. You're up a player, you're defending. Do you go double the ball? Do you go pressure, try to create a turnover? Sometimes you get caught overextended and you give up a man down goal or a player down goal in situations like that. So the other school of thought is just sit back and allow them to kill some clock.
West Islip now even, looking to put on some pressure on this Babylon defense, and that's going to be a goal. Great look from behind X. Number 7 came right off of that yellow card and was ready to make some plays.
Yeah, Ava Oblage comes out of the box, right? So she scores the goal. The goal gets taken off the board because of the dangerous follow-through. She goes in the box, gets released from the box, receives the ball at X, gets her eyes inside, finds a teammate for a quick stick finish. Number 4 on the goal, that is Mia Nicolosi.
Beautiful feed, beautiful finish. That's what you want to do when you get a goal taken away.
Yeah, exactly. And that also speaks to your point before on the goal that she got taken away. You talked about the tenacity with which she went to the goal and the energy that she's playing with today. She just showed it again coming out of the box.
All right, we're back at the draw. Pretty even on draws today so far in the first quarter. This one's going to go to Babylon. All right, Babylon looking to get another goal here. Choosing to go through X. Babylon trying to look for that open man on this zone. Really, it's all about that ball movement, working it fast, and then finding that open person. It looks like they're getting in a groove now.
Yeah, West Islip's doing a really nice job closing the gaps when Babylon tries to push them. Here's an opportunity.
Great back check by number 9, but Babylon's going to come up with it. Right, looks like this is going to put Babylon on the 8. Ref is calling a full extension foul on that defense.
Yeah, interesting decision here.
On that shot clock, 20 seconds is actually a lot of time, so I think she made the right decision if you can't get it in that top corner.
Yeah, 100%, especially the way West Islip was set up to defend that free position. There was really no angle to even attack, let alone shoot.
All right, possession's going to go to West Islip with a defensive caused turnover. Goalie making some really great clears out to the 40 and 50-yard line.
Yeah, her outlet is really, really strong. I'm impressed watching West Islip's zone defense right now, how they communicate and cover the middle inside the 8-meter.
Yeah, that high-pressure backer defense is one that is very tiring. So to really see how they're getting in on those openings quickly is really impressive. And that's going to be a great save by the Babylon goalie, one that's needed in this very tight game.
Yeah, that's a great kick save off the right foot.
West Islip comes back up with it, and they're wasting no time trying to find those holes.
Yeah. Addison Costa, the goalie for Babylon, got her 300th save last week against Comswag. Once you're talking about hundreds of saves over the course of a career, that's quite a milestone to hit.
Definitely the 8th defender for this team.
For sure.
Number 7 dodging nicely. The ref had his flag up, but he put his whistle back. So possession's going to go to Babylon here.
Yeah, I didn't notice the flag go up. I was too busy watching Oblage just attack the goal again.
Quick hands, quick feet, that one.
Yeah. In and out of small spaces in one step.
Great back check. Babylon comes back up with it. Looks like they're running some type of set here for the zone.
Yeah, so they run like a little wheel action up top, trying to put pressure on that top side, the top zones in the West Islip defense. Oftentimes you'll see teams run a wheel on the corners or on the wings. They ran it up top that time. They had some opportunities to push. West Islip just calls the turnover.
That's a third cause turnover by the West Islip defense. I think if they keep at that, that's going to be very helpful to really win this game.
Yeah, when you put high pressure on the ball and the girls inside are doing a great job communicating and passing off cutters, there's not a lot of opportunity to feed inside.
All right, fouls called outside of the 8, putting them on the 12.
The West Islip running a stack off the left elbow.
Great look in, and that's going to be another goal for West Islip.
Guess
Beautiful
who?
feed.
Ava Oblage on the goal. So we've been talking about the tenacity that she's playing with and the energy that she's playing with today. As you watch the play, swing the ball across the top of the 8 meter. Again, chin on your shoulder, eyes inside. Ava Oblage cuts through the defense and again shoots back where she came from. Back across the front face of the goal. Got the goalie moving left, shoot it back where you came from. That spot on the cage is probably going to be open.
This game is brought to you by Lessings Hospitality Group. We'll be right back after this timeout.
Finnegan's Restaurant and Tap Room is where Huntington Village has been meeting, mingling, and making memories since 1912. Make your next memory at Finnegan's from now until June 15th and receive 10% off your next meal when you mention LI Sport.
Scan the QR code above and type in LI Sports for 10% off your next meal.
All right, and we're back with T&D Sports. Vanessa Windsor here with the play-by-play today.
And I'm Charlie Rizzuto doing the color commentary. So, Vanessa, we have a pretty competitive game right now, right? West Islip covering the inside with their zone defense, but pushing transition and dodging hard to the goal, putting some pressure on Babylon's defense.
Yeah, definitely. I think right now the draws are pretty even, really giving both these teams opportunities. So it is a very high defensive playing game right now. West Islip is really kind of just beating out Babylon in really just causing those turnovers on defense.
Yeah, and the West Islip goalie helping out too, right, with those long clears to generate some offense off a save.
Yeah, I think offensively, if Babylon really tries not to look in the middle and find that open man on the outside, they're going to be able to create some shooting space, some scoring opportunities for themselves.
Yeah, get themselves to the 8 meter.
Very, very tight in that 8 with that West Islip defense. All right, Babylon coming back up with it. Looks like they're going to try to run a set here from the wing. Yeah, those skip plays are really going to work on this defense, and I think they're going to have to really try to push that. All right, that's going to be a goal, but it's not going to count because the whistle was before that follow-through. Looks like the refs are going to put Babylon on the 8.
Yeah, you see Babylon, right, push here, get an extended defender, dodge. Vanessa, how many times do you see that happen during the course of a girls or a women's lacrosse game, right? Player scores, you get a shooting space call, they go to the 8-meter, and they get checked, goalie save, missed the cage.
Yes. I mean, I think that right now women's lacrosse is evolving from college all the way down to the PAL level. I really do think there's a lot of advocacy to give the goal if the foul is called. And then don't even put them on the 8. Allow them to just go right back to the draw. And I would really like to see that. It's more of a basketball-esque type of rule, but I do think it would speed up the game. And if the girl is able to score it, she should really be able to get the point.
Yeah, I agree. So when I started coaching girls lacrosse about 15 years ago, one of the first things I did was take an officials class. And one of the first things they told us is don't penalize the non-offending team. And I feel like calls like that, you're penalizing the non-offending team. So I'd be a supporter of changing that rule for sure.
Yeah, I know that right now Coach Levy at UNC, she is trying to get that rule changed. She's actually trying to change the number of players on the field.
That I didn't know.
Yes, she's trying to get it down to 10. So one less, so it would be a 6v6 versus a 7v7 on the offensive and defensive end of the 30s.
Interesting.
So it's a very interesting tactic that she's trying to do. She did propose it to the committee, so we'll know pretty much within 6 months if that goes through.
Do you think that has traction and support?
I do think it has support. I will say, as a girls lacrosse coach, a lot of the time that extra player is really clogging, right? It's a lot more fast-paced when you have a 6v6 situation or a 5v5.
Yeah, I agree.
And that's going to be a goal for Babylon. Looks like number 22 got that goal back for herself.
Yeah, so Peyton gets the ball up the top, right? Nice little left-handed dodge there, puts her right foot in the ground, attacks that upfield shoulder of the defender, gets around the help defender and shoots the ball low to the backside corner. That's a great shot, right? A good aggressive play. Get one back on the board for Babylon and cut this to a 1-goal game.
Some really great lacrosse being played across the board today by West Islip and Babylon. I really do think that this game is really going to be a lot of back and forth. We're pretty even on the draw. We're pretty even offensively and defensively. So I think it's going to really just come down to who really wants it.
Yeah, without looking, I think we're even in just about every statistical category, right? Draws, ground balls, saves, time of possession is pretty close.
Eating, mingling, and making memories since 1912. Make your next memory at Finnegan's from now until June 15th and receive 10% off your next meal when you mention LI Sports. Athletes tell their story every time they step on the field, so why not enjoy the storybooks of American fare and endless cocktails at Library Cafe, where every visit is a new chapter. Visit Library Cafe in Farmingdale from now until June 15th and receive 10% off your next meal when you mention LI Sports. Start your day off the right way with peace, love, and bacon. Named Newsday's Best of Long Island and Best Brunch from 4 Leaf Best of Long Island, Hatch is more than just brunch. Stop by from now until June 15th and receive 10% off your next meal when you mention LI Sports.
Located in the heart of Cold Spring Harbor, Sandbar features a polished coastal casual ambiance that creates a sleek backdrop for elaborate American cuisine from both the land and the sea. Scan the QR code above and type in LI Sports for 10% off your next meal.
All right, and we're back at the draw for the second quarter. This game is brought to you by Lessings Hospitality Group. Right now we have a fairly even game. However, West Islip is leading by 1. We both believe it's because of their defensive strategy.
Yeah, West Islip's defense is locked down right now. Not a lot of space to dodge, not a lot of space to feed inside. But Babylon's had some success attacking the perimeter of the zone. We'll see if they go back to that.
All right, that first draw off the second quarter is going to go to West Islip.
Coach Nicolosi getting on the near side official a little bit. Looking for a call on the aggressive Babylon defense on Ava Oblage coming down the sideline.
You know, Coach Nicolosi was talking to us about how he has a lot of upperclassmen across the field. You know, when you have two-way midfielders that are upperclassmen, they're really kind of the backbone, right, of the offense and the defense. And I think that that's really helping West Islip today on all ends of the field.
Yeah, whether you name an upperclassman a captain or not, right, they bring that experience. They should bring that leadership. They're part of the fiber of not only your team but your program for the past however many years that they've been up on varsity and even coming through PAL, middle school, and the JV teams.
Definitely. All right, Babylon has an opportunity to get on the board here with their first offensive. Nope. Denied by the West Islip back check.
That high pressure West Islip zone defense causing havoc again.
I would be very interested in talking to Coach Nicolosi about some of the drills that he does to really help his girls focus on that back check. They're not swinging. They're just holding strong and really waiting for that stick to be out of the sphere. And they're very strong and controlled. And that's really how you should be on checks. You should never be able to give up positioning to get it. And I'm really impressed by that.
Yeah, because that's a difficult thing to do, especially in girls lacrosse, right? You want to play defense with your feet first, right? But if you're going to be a player that's going to throw a check, it's all about timing and, to your point, being in control. Because if you mistime it or you're out of control, it's a foul every time.
Yeah, and they've been able to come up with a few of them. I counted about 4 or 5. I mean, Babylon's been able to get it back, but still, that's going to be another goal for West Islip. Defense turning into offense for them every single time.
Yeah, and there's Jenna Oblage on the 8-meter free position goal. Yeah, she's at the center hash, right? Whistle blows. She gets a nice first step. Drops her elbow a little bit, drops her stick to the side a little bit, but puts the ball right past the outside right shin of the goaltender. I'm curious to see how many points the Oblage family has so far today. Got our statistician up here, Logan O'Hara, going to count that up for me.
And that was Kaylee, correct?
That was Jenna, I think.
Jenna.
That was Jenna.
So there's a few of them on this field.
Yeah, the Oblage family with 5 points so far.
That's the sophomore, number 1.
Yeah, there's a sophomore on the team. I believe there's an 8th grader, Kaylee.
And a 9th grader.
And a 9th grader. And then Ava's a junior.
It's impressive.
Yeah. Yeah, the Oblage is a lacrosse family, right?
Yes.
Their dad played at Hofstra.
4 daughters on varsity. It's got to be fun.
I could be wrong, but I think there's a younger one that's also coming up in the future. Don't quote me, though.
All right, Babylon with another offensive opportunity. Let's see if they can get through this West Islip defense. It's going to be a good save by their goalie.
Yeah, West Islip defense does a nice job collapsing inside. Right, so here's one of the things about playing against a defense like West Islip. It's 5-3. It's only 2 goals. It's the second quarter. But sometimes when you're playing against a zone as well run as this one, it takes time to break it down. And the bigger a hole that you get dug into, sometimes it's more difficult to climb out when the team plays a really good zone defense.
This is a really important offensive possession for Babylon. They need to get the ball in the back of the net to really close that gap.
Yep, they got 20 on the shot clock.
All right, looks like it's going to be a foul call. And that's going to be a save for West Islip goalie.
Yeah, nice save. High to release. Stick side. Goalie tracked it well. And here she is out of the goal, right, orchestrating the clear, making sure she's active.
Great clear by West Islip. Let's see what they do here, if they're going to be pushing it or slowing it down. Looks like they're going to go with a slow down through X.
Yeah, Babylon showing their version of their zone defense right now. They're in a flat backer.
All right, that's going to be a foul call, putting West Islip on the 8.
It's tough to see the number, but that looks like it might be Carly Oblage, number 14. Decides to shoot off the 8. Nice save by the Babylon goaltender.
A needed save for Babylon.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, West Islip drops back into a ride, right? Giving Babylon the space inside the 30, trying to clog the space in between the two 30s, and it creates a turnover.
You could definitely tell that both teams study film. I think they really know where to be in between those 30s.
Yeah, absolutely. And again, not to keep bringing it up, but when you watch West Islip's zone defense, where they're put
by Babylon there. They collapsed quickly, was able to get that ball right to their goalie. Let's see if they can transition it and make an offensive opportunity.
Yeah, I like how Babylon just changed sides of the field twice. They have an opportunity to do it again. Against a high-pressure redefend like this, if you don't change sides of the field with the ball, you get stuck in doubles and triples on the sideline.
It's going to be a save by the West Islip goalie.
Yeah, that's not a bad shot there, right? Shooting out of your dodge, shooting out of your roll, your stick's hidden from the goalie. Might just need to put that one to a better spot, but that's a good decision. Looks like Peyton Logue-Boyd is limping a little bit. She's the one who took that last shot.
That's going to be a great cause turnover by Babylon defense, number 11. Ellie O'Brien with that cause turnover. Looks like the refs are going to be calling a foul here, issuing a yellow card to West Islip.
Yeah, pushing in the middle of the field. Right, eyes up. Contact in the middle, looks like a cross check, and then possibly a slash to the head.
So West Islip is playing a zone inside of the 30s, which is a great strategy, especially when you know that your girls can play great defense. I think there they just didn't stop their feet quick enough, which just kind of railroaded the girl.
Yeah.
But, you know, once they get that under control, I think they're going to cause a lot of turnovers in those 30s.
Yeah, it goes back to two things that we were talking about before, just in terms of playing defense in general, right? You play with your feet first and you play under control, right? With that said, obviously your feet need to be under control, but you had an opportunity to get a double there, right? To your point, just couldn't slow down, break down, stop your feet.
And number 11 was fast, right? So they kind of had to match that speed to get to her. And that kind of got them a little bit in trouble. Yeah. Babylon's a man up right now, so they really have to take advantage of this to close that gap. Let's see if they can do it. And that's going to not be a goal. That's a save by the West Islip goalie.
Yeah, great look inside anyway. So you watch the replay, right? Get a little flash cut through the middle, tuck your stick, trying to push it back to that far post. That looked like that might have went in. No replay in high school girls lacrosse. I mean, we have the advantage up here in the press box. That was close for sure.
You know, the goalie really did show off her skill there, like her wrist strength of like pouncing the ball out.
Yeah.
But it did look like it was a little bit over the line. However, it does need to reach the back of the net or the sides.
Yeah. So, I mean, you talk about goalies having quick hands, right? Usually we talk about that in terms of them reacting to a shot and making a save. There, the quick hands came in handy, no pun intended, to get a ball out of the goal that may have been in the goal. We don't know for sure.
That's a great goal by West Islip, number 9.
Yeah, Francesca Tofano is the recipient of, again, some early offense. West Islip pushing transition, right down the middle of the field. Eyes up, surveying, reading the defense, right? Just one quick pass inside, quick cradle to protect your stick. And again, I love how West Islip is shooting back where they came from, right? You start on the left post or the near post, or depending on how you want to frame it, you come across the front of the goal. That's going to move the goalie, shoot back where you came from to that backside bottom bar. And it's difficult for the goalie to track and react to.
We're back at the draw here. I really think Babylon needs this one. You know, they had a
couple of good shots, right? Just maybe put them to a better spot, to your point.
All right, let's see who wins this draw. Draw's going to go to Babylon. West Islip's just on it. Cause turnover.
Yeah, pressure all over the field. 7v7, transition, pushing offense. They're just playing with a lot of energy today. They're playing aggressive on both sides of the ball and in between the 30s.
Yeah, definitely making it difficult for Babylon to get on that offensive side in between the 30s right now, which is exactly what Coach Nicolosi told me, that he's relying on those midfielders to come up with big plays in that midfield, and that's what they're doing. They're putting the team on their back, they're making those cause turnovers happen, and they're making those goals putting in the back of the net by the attackers. I think they're doing a great job working all together.
Yeah, putting pressure on a team in transition can stop that early offense that they may be looking for when you're playing a zone defense. Right, each phase of the game supports every other phase of the game.
And that's going to be a turnover by Babylon. Back to West Islip stick.
Yeah, you might categorize that as an unforced turnover, right? But at the same time, when you're playing a team that puts the pressure on the ball the way West Islip does, sometimes you might just tighten up as an offensive team, play a little bit tighter. So even though West Islip didn't get a stick on that ball or throw a check to cause a ground ball and then create the turnover, just the pressure that you're constantly putting on your opponent sometimes gets them to play a little bit tighter and can cause a turnover in and of itself.
Definitely. That's going to be a foul call. I agree with that one. You kind of heard it.
Yeah.
Clack together. Babylon's definitely quick on their defense. I think where they're having trouble really closing the gaps is they're leading a little bit too much with their stick and not their bodies.
Yeah,
that's why
agree.
the gap isn't closing.
And West Islip's taking advantage of that through quick ball movement.
Definitely.
Right, you get a team that gets overextended a little bit, has a difficult time recovering. If you move the ball quickly, you're going to find the gaps in that defense.
All right, that's going to be a cause turnover by the Babylon defense. They quickly were able to get a cause turnover on that pass. Looking for a transition here. Okay, looks like the ref is going to call a foul. I don't think everyone agreed with that in the stands.
Yeah, they have two over here. Yeah, that's an easy out.
All right, Babylon back on offense.
With 2 minutes to go in the half, you probably see West Babylon show some patience here and try to work for the best look, not just any look.
All right, it looks like West Islip defense is going to come up with it again. A save by the goalie there.
Yeah, Babylon trying to feed inside. Again, those spaces are closing really, really quickly. Something that looks open, if you pause or you hesitate or you wait too long, it's not going to be there by the time you feed the inside.
All right, it looks like there's a little bit of a collision there. However, the ball's going to go to White, Babylon. You know, it's all about the angles that these refs see. I personally think they're calling a great game. You know,
Yeah, I agree with you.
I think when you have a team, like once refs start seeing that you have a team that is really putting that pressure on, they're going to control the game by making sure there's not as many swings. Although I think West Islip's very controlled with their checks.
Yeah, I think they're controlled also. And you're right? Officials have to control the game, right? They can't allow anything to get out of hand. As you see a nice ground ball here, right? Eyes up again right away, push in transition. Looks like their feet got tangled up, a little out of control on the body contact. Foul on Babylon. West Islip retains possession.
I think West Islip's going to go for this one here. They have a little less than 30 seconds left, and it looks like they're hungry for that other goal before halftime.
Yep, and they were just an errant pass to the middle.
All right, Babylon. Let's see. And West Islip's going to cause turn it over, looking to pressure that net. Goalie with a really big save for Babylon's defense.
Just do your best to kind of hold this one here. That's a check in the crease.
I love the athleticism that this goalie showed. in those last 30 seconds.
Restaurant and tap room is where Huntington Village has been meeting, mingling, and making memories since 1912. Make your next memory at Finnegan's from now until June 15th and receive 10% off your next meal when you mention LI Sports. Athletes tell their story every time they step on the field, so why not enjoy the storybooks of American fare and endless cocktails at Library Cafe, where every visit is a new chapter. Visit Library Cafe in Farmingdale from now until June 15th and receive 10% off your next meal when you mention LI Sports.
Jump shot, leave your knee shot? We've got specialists for that. Face down after that face off? We've got specialists for that. Half pipe, leave you full of pain? We've got specialists for that. Orland & Cohen's top orthopedic team has specialized expertise and extensive training from the nation's premier programs in sports medicine, knee, shoulder, hip, spine, hand, foot, and ankle, so you can feel better faster.
Athletes tell their story every time they step on the field, so why not enjoy the storybooks of American fare and endless cocktails at Library Cafe, where every visit is a new chapter. Visit Library Cafe in Farmingdale from now until June 15th and receive 10% off your next meal when you mention LI Sports.
It has to be something more than just lacrosse that we're teaching these girls. We teach our girls to compete because that is something that they can take into their lives.
The coaches are amazing. I'm the most confident I've ever been.
They've gotten me to where I am today with both my skill and my confidence. My ability to speak up and my confidence and my overall knowledge. I've definitely seen a lot of growth.
I believe that we need to pay more attention to the process of growth and development from an athletic standpoint and a skill standpoint, and also the mental performance piece of an athlete.
All the coaches and players are very encouraging, and they are always there for your support. Not doing your best, they're always there to pick you up.
It's truly a benefit to having a woman-led coaching experience. It's not just, like you said, lacrosse, it's life.
Athletes tell their story every time they step on the field, so why not enjoy the storybooks of American fare and endless cocktails at Library Cafe, where every visit is a new chapter. Visit Library Cafe in Farmingdale from now until June 15th and receive 10% off your next meal when you mention LI Sports.
Not feeling the love after your last tennis match? We've got specialists for that. Running for the train, derail your knee? We've got specialists for that. Diving after that grounder, leaving you grounded? We've got specialists for that. Orland & Cohen's top orthopedic team has specialized expertise and extensive training from the nation's premier programs in sports medicine, knee, shoulder, hip, spine, hand, foot, and ankle, so you can feel better faster.
And we are back. This game is brought to you by Lessings Hospitality Group. West Islip in the lead with 6. Babylon trailing just a little bit behind with 3 goals. Okay, so pretty tight game here. This first draw is really going to make a difference.
Yeah, so to go through the scoring summary, we're going to start with West Islip. Francesca Tofano has 2 goals. Ava Oblage has 2 goals and 2 assists. Caitlin Messina has 1 goal. And Jenna Oblage has 1 goal and 2 assists.
And we have number 14, Crolage for Babylon. She was the first on the board for them. We have number 23, Jano. And then we have number 22, Boyd. She has a goal. So I think really their midfielders, their attackers, really need to step up here in this third quarter for Babylon. I think West Islip has just had some really great saves, too. Their goalie, like you said, had over 300 saves, right, that she just made?
Yeah, last week she got her 300th save, right? So she's obviously playing with confidence for the rest of the season, right?
Definitely.
Once you hit a milestone like that, you're carrying that with you for the rest of the season. I'm curious to see what Babylon does to try and dissect this West Islip defense, right? What adjustments did they make at halftime? Coach Ryan, right, a really good coach last year, which ironically enough was his 3-year plan, right? So he took over the program 3 years ago. Year 1 was plant the seeds. Year 2 was growth. And year 3 was to watch, the fruits of your labor.
Yeah.
And they won a county championship in year 3. So he's right on time.
I think when you're winning a county championship coming off of that, when you reach that goal, it's like, what's that next goal now, right? And then also people are trying to beat you because they're hungry to prove a point. So I think West Islip really came into this game wanting to prove that, we're here, we want to win, and it's a good rivalry, these two schools. I think both coaches have a lot of pedigree in the sport, and I think they know how to coach against each other. We could really see that on the field today.
Yeah, I agree with it. And that's always fun, right? So, you're a coach, I'm a coach, right? We've been coaching for a long time. It's really nice to play a competitive game, but against a team that is well coached and when you know the other coach, right? It's like that game inside the game. So that's always fun to have. That's a nice relationship to build with your opponents across the county and across Long Island.
And Babylon is actually in the lead on draws by 2. So I think that they've had a lot of scoring opportunities. I think if they make the adjustments that they need to on offense, I think the game is going to get a little tighter.
Yeah, one of those adjustments might be just showing a little bit more patient, right? Waiting for the best look, not just the first look, and see how that plays out.
Definitely. All right, looks like Babylon's going to come up with the first draw of the third quarter. Something that they really needed to get on the board.
Yeah, right, and high pressure right off the ground. She protects her stick. She pushes the space, finishes the clear, and now they're getting into their set.
Yeah, I agree with you. I'm a little excited to see what they're going to do here, what changes their coach made to get through this defense.
Yeah, Coach Ryan, right, he's no stranger to coaching. He's no stranger to success. He's coached boys lacrosse at the varsity level, girls lacrosse. He was an assistant. Now he's the head coach.
It looks like it's going to be a foul call on West Islip. And another one by the ref. Number 14's in, and she rips it and scores that goal. That's the goal they needed.
Yeah, so that's the way to start the second half, right? They come out, they're not playing timid, they're not shying away from West Islip's pressure. They're actually attacking and showing the same aggression and tenacity on the offensive side of the ball, right? So you push through the defender's inside shoulder. She goes for that check that you were talking about before. You feel it behind you, switch hands, and again, shoot the ball back where you came from, right? Move the goalie across the front of the goal, shoot back where you came from, shoot back to the side of the goal that she just vacated, and you have a lot of net to hit.
You could definitely tell that number 14 knew that back check was coming. I think that awareness of the style that you're playing against is so important. She really made that quick transition to her left hand, and this type of defense is really going to force you to be in your non-dom hand.
Yeah, that's just great awareness, right? That's a good game sense and a good feel for what's going on around you.
Second draw in this third quarter goes to Babylon. They're 2-0 for this, but it's going to be a turnover for them. Or maybe not. It looks like the ref is calling a check. Check to a foul. He's giving it to Babylon. So it looks like he's saying it turned over because of that check to the arm.
Yeah, so Babylon gets the ball right back. Great opportunity to cut this game to 1. It's a tight feed. Might have a card here.
Yes, we're going to have a card here. I think it did hit her. It was a cross check and an up check to the head. We're going to rewind here.
Yeah, so you get a little flip pass inside, right? Trying to get the ball back, trying to make a play, right? You down
pretty quickly, try to run up the numbers.
I was actually just going to say I'm curious to see how they play this, right? Do they push fast like they've been playing 7v7? Or because they have an extra player, do they slow it down a little bit and work a man-up play?
I love a good get as many goals as you can while you're man up. But we'll see what they do.
Yeah, we always played fast man up as well.
I mean, 2 minutes can go really long if you're putting the ball in the back of the net.
Yeah, we had a couple of man-up plays, but really we just ran fast zone offense and tried to get as many as we could.
Yeah. Coach Nicolosi is calling something, and number 7's going right in, and that's going to be a goal for her.
Yep.
Ava Oblige crushing it.
Yep. I'm not sure if this is what Coach Nicolosi called, but Ava Oblage saw a seam in the defense, decided to attack it, got her hands free. You see 4 Babylon defenders sliding, but they can't get there in time. Quick release, puts the ball to a good spot. I'm really impressed with the decisions that Ava's making in terms of shot selection, right? Not only when to shoot, but her shot placement is really strong. And she's not just trying to place the ball or focus on accuracy. She's shooting the ball hard to a good spot, which is difficult for any goalie to react to.
It's been really neat to see Ava's progression throughout the years. I've commentated for West Islip a couple of years ago when she was a little bit of an underclassman, and she had the quickness and the speed and the stick. But really to see her finishes today, both as an assister and someone who's scoring goals, is pretty impressive. She's definitely playing like the upperclassman that coach said that she was doing all season so far.
And it's nice to play with your sisters, right? So that last play, she got the ball from her sister Carly and finished it.
And that's going to be another goal for West Islip, playing the style I love, which is get as many goals as you can during that yellow card.
Yeah, so that's Tefano again from Jenna Oblage, right? Jenna Oblage gets the ball out on the wing, left hand, goes underneath the extended Babylon defender, protects her stick from the slide, right? Number 9, Tefano slides into the empty space that was just vacated by that sliding defender in the middle of the defense, receives the pass, no hesitation. She has her mind made up before the ball's even in her stick. She knows what she's doing, catches turns, and again, shoots to a good spot. I'm really impressed by the shot placement by the entire West Islip team.
Yes, and Ava is committed to the University of Florida. They're doing great these past 2 years in the Big 12 conference and really being nationally ranked. So I think that I think it's pretty impressive what she's doing today, putting the team on her back.
Yeah, not only is Florida having a lot of success in terms of wins and losses recently, but they're doing a great job continuing the tradition of recruiting Long Island talent.
Yes.
You might say that that's why they're having so much success, but then again, we're also biased.
Yes, that's true. We are. But when you see the teams in the top 10 and how many are coming from, here, I think it's a pretty impressive thing, the tradition.
Yeah, just littered with talent.
Right, it looks like Babylon has the ball. Looks like coach is calling some type of set.
Yeah, I couldn't hear what he said.
I think they're probably waiting to be even. Looks like that foul's going to be running out soon.
Yeah.
All right, Babylon's going to be able to save that one. That was close. They were able to get it back.
Yeah, the comment I was just going to make is West Islip applies a lot of pressure defensively and in transition when they're even. Now they have an extra player, and they're sending 2 and 3 to the ball to try and create some turnovers. But now the card's released, and we're back even.
It looks like they're very aware of this shot clock, that they only have 10 seconds left. Looking in. And that's going to be a goal for number 22. Almost like a jump shot over the head. I can't wait to see this rewind.
Yeah, that's a great finish by Peyton Logue-Boyd. So again, like you said, shot clock winding down. You got to try and make a play. She feeds it inside, right? Peyton has a long reach, right? Able to shoot over the defenders and tucks the ball right inside the near side post and the goalie's shoulder, right? That's a small spot to hit, but again, a smart shot, right? You could try to shoot back across, like I've been saying all game, right? Shoot back where you came from, shoot to that backside bottom bar, but the awareness that Peyton had right there, if she does try to shoot to the backside of the goal, she might hit one of the defenders, right? Now the goal comes off the board if it goes in general, so I like the awareness. Shoot near side, put it in the coffee can, right in between the near side pipe and the goalie's arm.
And Peyton is also going to the Big 12 Conference. She's committed to Arizona State University.
Yes, she is.
And you can definitely tell she might be a little bit of a basketballer playing for this coach, I think.
Yeah, there's a few basketballers on this roster. Again, just coming off a county championship with Coach. Nice pivot foot inside there by Peyton.
All right, looks like it might go to West Islip. All right, West Islip still has the possession.
Good job backing up the goal there. When you're a team that consistently backs up the goal, it really takes the pressure off your offensive when you're shooting, right? It takes your pressure off your teammates. They can kind of let it fly with a little bit more confidence that if they miss, somebody's going to back it up. It also speaks to what I would tell my teams all the time, right? When you shoot, 3 things can happen. You could score, the goalie could save it, or you could miss the goal, and only one of them is bad, right? As long as we back it up, we just don't want saves, because saves are turnovers.
Yes, and it looks like one save just happened. That turnover for West Islip was made by the Babylon goalie. Something that I really think Babylon needs right now with a little less than 7 minutes left in this third quarter.
Yeah, like you said before, right, the 8th defender, right, if she could come up with a couple of big stops, right, cause those turnovers off of saves, get some transition for Babylon, get them possessions, keep the ball out of their defensive side, right? If West Islip doesn't have the ball, they can't score, and Babylon can settle into some offensive sets and chip away at this lead.
All right, Babylon with another offensive set here. Let's see what they can do with it. It looks like they are definitely finding ways to get through the, zone defense.
Yeah, we have an injured Babylon player right now. Looks like that's Lily Crowledge.
All right, this game is brought to you by Lessings Hospitality Group. We're going to take a break right now, and we'll be right back.
Athletes tell their story every time they step on the field. So why not enjoy the storybooks of American fare and endless cocktails at Library Cafe, where every visit is a new chapter. Visit Library Cafe in Farmingdale from now until June 15th and receive 10% off your next meal when you mention LI Sports.
Jump shot, leave your knee shot? We've got specialists for that. Face down after that face off? We've got specialists for that. Half pipe, leave you full of pain? We've got specialists for that. Orland & Cohen's top orthopedic team has specialized expertise and extensive training from the nation's premier programs in sports medicine, knee, shoulder, hip, spine, hand, foot, and ankle, so you can feel better, faster.
Athletes tell their story every time they step on the field. So why not enjoy the storybooks of American fare and endless cocktails at Library Cafe, where every visit is a new chapter. Visit Library Cafe in Farmingdale from now until June 15th and receive 10% off your next meal when you mention LI Sports.
Great job by Aubrey Eisfeld. Great job by Save Hill. Ball gets fed inside. From behind to number 3, Dylan McNamara.
All right, and we are back. West Islip in the lead with 8 goals in the third quarter. A little over 6 minutes to go. Babylon trailing a little bit behind again with 5.
Yeah, it looked like Lily Crowledge was cramping there when we went to break. So hopefully we see her back on the field soon.
Babylon with possession, I believe. giving them an offensive opportunity.
Yeah, 46 on the shot clock on the restart. Big possession here for Babylon.
West Islip with that pressure. I actually thought it was a great check, but the ref sees something differently from a different angle.
Those are those angles you were talking about before, right? She was running right at us, so we had a great look. The officials on the far side, maybe not so great an angle.
So you said you've been coaching for 15 years. I feel like it took me at least 5 to remember that it's not changing.
Yeah,
let's not say anything.
They're not going to change the call. I did, however, in my coaching career, question a call, very respectfully, of course, and the official stood by it, which they always do, and they should, right? But then I had that official text me that evening to tell me he went home, looked at the rule book, he was wrong, and he apologized.
Oh, wow, that's amazing.
That's something.
Love stories like that.
Yeah.
I do really like the replay. That's going to be a goal for West Islip, a quick one right off transition.
Yeah, it looked like it was Ava Oblage again. Yeah, number 7. So they're pushing transition. I've said it a bunch today, right? Early offense, eyes up, looking inside. I love how Ava hits the seam of the Babylon defense in transition, shows a target, again, before the slide that can get there. Quick release, good spot, change of level, right? She shoots overhand, down to that near side post, right? Change of level, change of speed on a dodge, change of level on a shot, difficult to defend, difficult to save.
Some really great stuff from West Islip in that transition, really stretching the first lead that they've had of 4 goals.
Yeah, putting a lot of pressure on this Babylon team to get stops now, not only get stops, but create some turnovers to maximize possession time and score goals quickly, which is really difficult to do against any zone, but especially, as we said, this West Islip high-pressure zone.
All right, it's going to go to West Islip off of a foul off the draw. They don't look like they have any time of slowing down.
No.
Right now. Some great ball movement here.
Yeah, and I like how West Islip is skipping the ball when it's there, right, against this Babylon backer zone. Babylon's doing a decent job passing girls off inside as well. I know we were singing the praises of West Islip's ability to do that earlier, but Babylon's doing a good job with it as well. As you see West Islip pushing the ball around the perimeter, and just as I say that, Cutter flashes inside, gets open, but another great save by the Babylon goalie. Way the vision of the ball carrier, right? But you could also use that pressure to keep the ball on one side of the field. West Islip's doing a nice job exchanging from one side of their set to the other.
Definitely.
If you come up, you put some pressure, you take your inside foot upfield to turn the ball back. That also helps the backer, so she's not running around and getting tired, and she could really support the perimeter defenders, and it helps to keep the ball on one side of the field.
Yet again, we are in the third quarter, right? So they could also be a little bit tired.
Could be.
West Islip is really putting a lot of pressure on in the midfield, making them probably tired by the time they get it to settle defense. So.
Oh, that's a good look.
Great cause turnover again.
Yeah.
This defense just has had so many cause turnovers after cause turnovers. And I don't think it's anything that Babylon's necessarily doing wrong. I think that they're just in the right spot and know where to be.
Yeah, absolutely.
Great
what a
save by the
save.
Babylon goalie. But West Islip's going to come up with it and get another goal. Yeah, that's where your defense needs to pick up that ground ball.
Yeah, you got to support your goalie there, right? She, in the last 3-4 possessions, she's had 3 or 4 saves. She makes another one there. But West Islip in front of the goal picks up the ground ball. Again, no hesitation. You know when you're inside the 8-meter, that close to the crease, you pick up a ground ball, it's an immediate shot.
All right, this game is brought to you by Lessings Hospitality Group. We will be right back after this timeout.
Athletes tell their story every time they step on the field. So why not enjoy the storybooks of American fare and endless cocktails at Library Cafe, where every visit is a new chapter. Visit Library Cafe in Farmingdale from now until June 15th and receive 10% off your next meal when you mention LI Sports.
Jump shot, leave your knee shot? We've got specialists for that. Face down after that face off? We've got specialists for that. Half pipe, leave you full of pain? We've got specialists for that. Orland & Cohen's top orthopedic team has specialized expertise and extensive training from the nation's premier programs in sports medicine, knee, shoulder, hip, spine, hand, foot, and ankle, so you can feel better faster.
And we are back. Game brought to you by Lessings Hospitality Group. We have a little less than 3 minutes to go in this third quarter. West Islip up by 5 right now against Babylon.
Yeah, so West Islip's up by 5, right? But Babylon's doing a good job, right? Babylon's a smaller school, a Class D school. Don't have as much depth on the sideline, don't have as much depth in the program, right? Just smaller numbers in general. But they're fighting hard, right? West Islip has, a nice polished defense that they're putting a lot of pressure on the ball. But Babylon's doing a good job fighting and scrapping, and I wouldn't be surprised if they close the gap here.
Agreed. I mean, listen, there's a lot of game left. Teams can swing a 5-goal lead very quickly. I mean, they're going to definitely be beating a clock now that we're a little less than 3 in the third quarter, but it can easily be done with smart possessions.
Yeah, and especially if you could win a draw like that, right? Peyton Loge-Boyd right off the draw, goes up with one hand, corrals it, and now Babylon has a possession. Let's see if they can put one in the net.
All right, looks like their coach is calling a set here from the top.
Lily Crowledge back on the field for Babylon.
And that's going to be a save for the West Islip goalie. Babylon's still going to come up with it.
Yeah, and a fresh shot clock, too.
That's always a good thing when they can reset that shot clock. They're starting to get in the groove with the ball flow, and I think if they continue that, they're going to find the open man and be able to get some nice shots off.
Yeah, they're definitely running different patterns also than they were in the first half, right? We saw a couple wheels at the top of the 8, up by the 12 in the first half. It looks now that they're pushing the ball down the side a little bit more, attacking the bases of that zone defense as they're doing right now.
That's just going to be a little bit of an off angle there
Yeah,
off
that's
of
a good
that
take.
shot.
That's a good take by Peyton. Not sure if the defender got a piece of her stick when she went to shoot or not, but
West Islip looking to feed here, it seems. Pushing those seams. Babylon's defense able to come up with a caused turnover, one that is crucial right now with a little less than a minute to go in this third quarter. Looks like the goalie has ball. They're looking to transition it.
yeah, Jillian Alfano for West Islip. Right, good decision to push there, right? A lot of space. It looked like one of the Babylon defenders, I couldn't tell which one, got a piece of her stick right before she could get her shot off.
Some
Puts the
great
ball on the
speed
ground.
here for Babylon. Number 22 looking to go. And that's going to be a foul right in the 8, putting her on the 8-meter.
Yeah, Logue Boyd in a really good position right here, right? Left-handed, right? That second hash to the right.
And that's going to be a goal for Babylon, one that they needed going into the 4th.
Yeah, the West Islip goalie gets a chunk of it, but it had enough on it to cross the line. So you see her set up on the hash, right? Quick off the whistle. West Islip defenders didn't get any plastic there. West Islip goalie approaches the ball, right, steps to it, gets a piece of it, but Peyton had enough on it to get it in the net.
So there is still enough time for one of these teams to win this draw and get another goal. So if I was Babylon, I'd be trying my hardest to get it and get another goal and back of the net. off transition.
Yeah, let's see if Logue Boyd can win this one also.
She's doing a great job at the draw, giving her team a lot of really great opportunities. She knows where she's placing it. As you can see, she just pulled it, was able to grab that self-draw there, and it looks like she's doing exactly what I said, trying to push that to cage.
Yeah, and she definitely has the length advantage on the draw, right? So drawing it to herself gives her an advantage as long as she can put it to the spot that she wants, which on the last 2 draws she was able to do.
And West Islip's going to be able to come up with a turnover for that 3rd quarter whistle.
Yeah, short time on that possession. Right, like you said, Babylon tried to push early. Right, they just couldn't get good look. They couldn't get numbers on either side of the field.
Game brought to you by Lessings Hospitality Group. West Islip with 10, Babylon with 6, making this a 4-goal game. We will be right back with the 4th quarter after this timeout.
Athletes tell their story every time they step on the field. So why not enjoy the storybooks of American fare and endless cocktails at Library Cafe, where every visit is a new chapter. Visit Library Cafe in Farmingdale from now until June 15th and receive 10% off your next meal when you mention LI Sports.
Not feeling the love after your last? We've got specialists for that. Diving after that grounder leaving you grounded? We've got specialists for that. Orland & Cohen's top orthopedic team has specialized expertise and extensive training from the nation's premier programs in sports medicine, knee, shoulder, hip, spine, hand, foot, and ankle. So you can feel better, faster.
All right, and we are back. This game brought to you by Lessings Hospitality Group. We'd like to talk a little bit about Babylon. I think there was some momentum shift there.
Yeah, you could feel it, right? So they get the last 2 draws. They put another goal on the board. They shrink the lead to 4. You got 12 minutes on the clock. And you were saying during the break, right? 4th quarter, right? 4th quarter is the most important quarter of any game. If Logue Boyd can continue to win some of those draws, get Babylon some possessions, they continue to put pressure on specific elements of the West Islip defense, you could go on a run, right? You said it earlier in the game. In Lacrosse, you could score goals in bunches, right? They have 12 minutes and they're only down 4. But like you've said and we've said during the broadcast, it's all going to start at the draw.
Yeah, I think starting at the draw, that momentum shift was great. On the draw, they were able to put the ball in back of the net. And it's going to be really exciting to see what they do in this 4th quarter. I definitely think the energy is high, and they haven't given up. You can see from the body language, you can see they're not even flinching that there's a 4-goal lead. They just want to play lacrosse and do the best they can.
Yeah, and that no give up mindset, right? That starts with your coaching staff, right? Coach Ryan, we've talked about. Also Coach Yavoli, Kristen Yavoli, right? She played at Stony Brook. She coached at the college level at Malloy. She's now an assistant on this Babylon staff. And the 2 of them make sure that their kids don't give up, right? And they have that tenacity and they give that effort and they show that grit. And they have an opportunity to start to chip away at this.
Yeah, it's really exciting lacrosse, especially like when you're sitting in the box. We've both been commentating for a little while. When you see those teams kind of give up, it's really sad to watch in those 3rd and 4th quarters. I feel like Babylon has not done that. They are going for that ball, whether it's the draw, whether it's defense. Their goalie has made some really great saves. They've had some really great transitions. So it is just exciting lacrosse, and you can tell that these girls love it. They're coached well on both sides, and they're giving us a really exciting game, even though there's a little bit of a lead here for West Islip. And that's going to be another goal for West Islip.
Yeah, so this is a ground ball off another save, right? Any good team, if you give them a second chance possession, they're probably going to generate good offense, right? So there's a nice cut, nice feed to the middle, great finish to the back pipe. But it started with a Babylon save, right? West Islip takes a shot, Babylon goalie makes a save, ground ball. West Islip gets the ball off the ground, gets possession. A talented offensive team is going to score at a high percentage when you give them second chance possessions, right? If you have an opportunity to make a save, cause a turnover, you have to get the ball up, you have to get the ball out, and you have to get it into your offensive end of the field.
Definitely. We're back at the draw here. First one went to West Islip. Looks like the second one's going to them too. They are pushing this transition. I think that break was great for them. They looked a little tired by the end of the 3rd. I think that's the best part about transitioning with 4 quarters now into girls lacrosse. You're able to give your kids a little bit of a break. That minute or two can really go a long way, and I think they regain their energy for this 4th quarter.
Yeah, absolutely. I agree 100%. And one of the great parts about that play we just saw was Trefano, the goal scorer.
That is a great goal by
gets
number
the
9,
draw
West
control
Islip.
and then scores again, right? So to your point, right, the break in between the 3rd and 4th quarters served her well.
I can't wait to see this rewind.
Yeah. So pushing out the right side, right, eyes up, kick it out to the wing. Again, eyes inside. Trefano shows to the empty spot in the defense. Ball hits her pocket, turns. And here's what I love about that shot, right? Sometimes in girls lacrosse, you don't see a lot of shots from time and room, right? She was right inside the 8, but she had an opportunity to not only get her back hip into that shot, but get longer through her shooting motion and really extend to the under the crossbar and put that ball away. So that's a great shot from a great player who's having a great day.
Definitely. And she's committed to Yale University, so she is going high academic lacrosse.
Men's or women's, Division I, college lacrosse. 10 of those 20 schools are probably also really high academic schools. The Ivy League, the North Carolinas, the Northwesterns, the Dukes, all high academic schools as well. Looks like we have a goalie change for West Islip. Number 11, Alyssa Corso, is now in the goal for West Islip.
You know, I think that's really smart of Coach. You can really tell that he knows what he's doing with his players. You know, they're up by 6 right now, giving the other goalie an opportunity to get some real experience there, I think is great.
Yeah, agreed. Corso's a junior, right? Not only do you want to get your kids opportunities to play, right, but you also want to get them experience because you never know when you're going to need them going forward in the season.
Oh, yeah, I've seen it during playoff season. Crazy things can happen. You need to have your players, you know, on the bench ready as well.
100%.
Another great save by the Babylon goalie, looking for a transition here.
So one thing that we haven't mentioned, this pressure in the West Islip redefend also eats at the shot clock. Right, so the shot clock's running for Babylon this entire time. We're already down to 60 seconds, and they haven't left the 30.
Yeah, I love a good zone ride. I think it's just super smart, especially if your kids really understand the game of lacrosse. That's going to be some great passing by Babylon, but that back check just gets the Babylon girl. West Islip is literally professionals at this back check by this point.
Yeah, Maddie Rindos with a great back check, right? Putting the ball on the ground. But now here's what I was talking about before, right? Second chance offense oftentimes leads to a goal. They had a good look inside, just couldn't connect.
And you know, it's not anything that Babylon's doing wrong. It's not like they're hanging their sticks,
right,
you know, so wide. They are just really good at the timing. Like I said, I am definitely going to email this coach. I want to know what he does to teach them this back check because it's not just one player. That's another goal for West Islip. All of them know how to time.
Yeah, Caitlin Bell. And again, we talked about it before, right? You get the ball down around the crease. You get fed on the back pipe, the near pipe. It doesn't matter. When you turn the corner, the poise, the patience, the composure. You watch the ball come down the side. Number 33, eyes up, turns the corner, recognizes she has space to push. Little pump from her shoulder, showing high. Goalie steps out. She puts it low in between her feet. Just really impressed, again, with the shooting locations of the West Islip shooters and the poise and the composure that they display, not only in their offensive sets, obviously putting pressure on the defense, but when they get fed inside the 8-meter, not rushing, not playing tight, playing loose, playing relaxed, with good poise, good composure.
Yeah, Caitlin Val, she's committed to Rollins College in Florida. That's a very high-level Division II school, beautiful area in Florida. You know, Florida's really up and coming right now with women's lacrosse. Just a lot of schools are really attracting high-level players, both on the Division I and Division II side.
Yeah, for
of
sure.
Those conferences there.
Yeah, and even on the club level, right? You're starting to see a lot of club teams from Florida's age groups.
Great save by the Babylon goalie. However, there's going to be a foul call here.
Yeah, West Islip push a transition, looks inside. That's Jenna Oblage. Looks like she got pushed on the shot. She's on the 8-meter.
That's going to be a goal for her. Great placement there. Nice bounce shot.
Yeah, that's almost a carbon copy of one of her 8-meter goals from earlier in the game. Right, again, quick off the whistle, as you'll see on the replay. Left-handed shooter. Quick off the whistle, gets her hands set, drops her hands to a little sidearm release. Right, I don't know if I'd call that a bounce shot, right? I call bounce shots when the ball bounces out in front of the goalie.
Yes.
Call that a low shot or a skip shot to the backside.
Oh, a skip shot. I like that. Like skipping rocks.
Skipping rocks, right. Doesn't matter what you call it. It was a good spot, good shot, and it's on the board.
Yo, they say the best goals are the ones that go in, right?
Yeah, right.
All right, we're back at the draw. West Islip taking a nice stretch lead here. Still 8 minutes left in this fourth quarter. Babylon coming up with that draw. Looks like they're looking to hit transition here, getting it over the 30.
Yeah, down 8 goals with 8 minutes left. Right, obviously, sense of urgency right now for Babylon offensively to try and push the pace. Defensively, try to create some turnovers.
I mean, as a coach, right, like that's what you're looking for. You're looking for your kids to take that lead and make it as big as possible. And I think Babylon just really was able to get that rest in between the third and fourth quarter that they needed to do that.
We definitely saw West Islip showing some signs of fatigue at the end of the third quarter. Little water break, nice breeze coming in off the water. Maybe it's getting a little cooler for them, but they definitely came out in the fourth quarter with some energy.
Babylon not giving up, though. I love seeing their energy. I love seeing just the way that they're composing themselves. Still a lot of game left, and she's going to be able to go to cage, get that goal. But there's going to be another whistle.
It's on Babylon. I didn't see the foul there.
Maybe it was
maybe
someone on the other hash.
That's what I was thinking, right? But regardless of whether or not the goal went on the board, right, the great 8-meter, she pushes back to her right, uses her body to box out the defender, keeps her stick in front of her body until the last second, finishes. It doesn't go on the board, but it doesn't take away the play that the kid made, right? Kid made a great play. Not sure what happened off ball.
All right, West Islip back on offense. Looks like some different players out there right now, which is exciting to see. Coach putting some players in, making some changes. Great goal there by number 23.
Kaylee Oblage gets herself on the stat sheet, the 8th grader. The sideline goes crazy for her.
Yeah, that's exciting when you're an 8th grader there, given an opportunity in a big game.
Yeah, so I love how she put her left foot in the ground there, right? Pushed back to her strong hand, creates separation from her defender. And once her hands were free, she knows she's a shooter at that point, right? Gets her back hip into it, rotates, puts it to a good spot. 8th grader gets on the board.
I love how the team was really excited for her, too. I think it really shows the culture of what Coach was talking about, that upperclassmen really taking the lead and leadership and building the culture for the team. Not easy coming onto varsity as an 8th grader.
No, definitely not, right? We've both probably coached 8th graders on varsity before, right? The culture to bring her in is really important. But other than the play that she just made, probably my favorite part of that goal inside that back pipe. Goalie change for Babylon. Isella Devoti coming in.
All right, looks like a draw change here with number 26 for West Islip. Keeping it the same for Babylon. She's able to really do that pull draw. I love it. Yeah. She pulls it to where she wants it, and she guides that ball up just to make sure that it's a self-draw. I love it.
Yeah, and she's been doing a great job today demonstrating her wrist strength, right? To go up with one hand, corral it, get away from pressure with one hand on her stick.
And West Islip with that zone ride. Going to be a foul call here in the midfield, awarding the ball to Babylon. Looks like they're going to go with a transition, changing of the field. We are now at the 5-minute mark for the fourth quarter here.
Yeah, for those of you watching who may be new to girls lacrosse or just lacrosse in general, maybe you're a family member of one of the players today, you may have noticed that some of the girls taking the draw have a different stick that they use than the one that they play with, right? So if you look at Peyton Logue Boyd right now, she's taking the draw with a black stick. She has a white head right now. So there's special draw sticks that girls use to get advantage on the draw. The ball sits in the back of the stick a little bit better with a draw stick, but that draw stick is a little bit more difficult to play with because you don't have as deep of a pocket on the front side of that stick, as we see an 8-meter goal here for Babylon.
And as a draw specialist trainer, I'm going to say do not train with the draw stick because we want to make sure it's as hard as possible to get underneath that ball. However, I will agree that those draw sticks are great because they have a little hook just to get the ball underneath. So you really kind of do need one for game time now.
Yeah, helps you dictate where you want the ball to go.
Yeah, every time I have a girl come to a draw training and bring the draw stick, I'm like, you could just put that over there because we're going to use a very tight, non-pocket stick today to practice our wrist strength. And really, I think that a lot of people, like, I love that you said that she's really showcasing her wrist strength because I think a lot of people believe that it's all about strength. Of course, it's about strength in terms of, like, boxing out and physicality, but if you can get underneath that ball as quickly as possible, that really comes from the wrist strength.
Yeah. And I like the fact that you pointed out the difference between training, right, what you might train with, but that might not be with the stick that you use when you take the draw in a game, right? It's like that old dodgeball quote, right? If you could dodge a wrench, you could dodge a ball, right? If you could take a draw with your field stick, you could take a draw with your draw stick.
I mean, I played with a Brine Cup when I started, and we didn't really have that many options.
Right.
So it's amazing to see just kind of the evolution of the equipment for the girls' game as well. Pretty neat.
Yeah, Babylon with an 8-meter there. West Islip defense collapsed pretty quickly. Couldn't see how the ball got free. But West Islip on offense now. 3:30 to go in the game. 72 on the shot clock.
You know, 90 seconds is really a lot for the shot clock. I love that they lowered it for the college game. I love that they brought it to the high school game this year. I'm interested to see how that evolves as well, if they're going to lower it, keep it the same, maybe for safety on the high school side. But it's been really neat to see that. I think it's really showcasing the skill of these players.
Yeah, I agree. And I don't know if you'll agree with me when I say this, but when I started coaching girls lacrosse years ago, there was 3 rules that I was waiting to see changed as Babylon comes down and sticks one.
Nice
That's
goal.
good transition. So
Great
it looked
goal
like
by
Lily
Babylon.
Crowledge on the assist. Couldn't see who the goal scorer was.
We're going to rewind
Let's
it here.
watch the replay. Yeah, Lily Crowledge pushing the ball down the side. Again, great stick protection. Pulls it to her left shoulder. Once she gets underneath that defender, she resets her hands to become a feeder and gets it to Riley Bush for her first goal of the game.
It's a great goal.
Yeah. And again, back to your point from before, they're still playing, right? Tough, hard-nosed, gritty kids that play with pride, right? They have pride in their school, pride in what they've been accomplishing over the past 3 years as a program, and there's no quit. It's not in their DNA.
And really, there's a lot of lacrosse left to be played this season. And
yeah.
I think that that's what you're looking for as a coach, right? Like, are you still playing? Are you getting in the opportunities that we need you to get in? Maybe you might not take away this win today, but you're still learning something, right? You're taking something away from this game to bring into the next game and the following game. There's a lot of games left for them.
Yeah, the
before
3
playoff
most
time.
important things if you're on the sideline right now for Babylon as a player or a coach. 1, how do you finish this? 2, what is the feel on the bus or when you go back into the locker room? And 3, what does practice tomorrow look like? Right, those are the things you're looking for right now as a coach.
Definitely. So what's the 3 rules that you want to change?
So when I started coaching, I was hoping eventually we'd get a shot clock. I was hoping that at some point the girls would be able to use their feet and kick a ball on a ground ball.
Love it.
And I was hoping at some point defenders would be able to go through the crease.
I agree.
Thank you.
That's what I'm looking for. I think, so I coached the college game for 8 years before I went back to high school. That's another goal for Babylon. That's what you want to see. We have a little over 2 minutes to go, and they are still pushing this cage. Love it.
And that's Delaney Bush, right? So Riley scores. Delaney comes back with a goal, right? Peyton Loge Boyd, eyes up, feeds inside, finds one of the Bush sisters. Oh, I love how she finishes through contact there. And do we have a card?
And I want this rule to change. If she's going on the 8-meter and this goal's taken away, I would love for this rule to change.
Yeah, we kind of alluded to this earlier in the broadcast too, right? It's like you're penalizing the non-offending team. Delaney Bush did nothing wrong, but if the goal's coming off the board, no, they're going to count it. It looks
great.
like they're going to count it.
Oh, yay. Love that.
But yeah, I agree with you.
All right, looks like we're on the rewind here.
Yeah, ball comes up top, right? Same replay we just saw. Eyes inside, right? Finishing through contact. And not only does she finish through the contact, but she has the wherewithal to change her levels, right? So her stick's at a high point. She shoots the ball to a low point.
I love that the refs took charge there and like just awarded the goal, because I think it was like both. It was also the power that she had off that shot that made her fall as well. And they were like, let's just go back to the draw. I love it.
Yes. So now they're going to award Babylon the ball because of the foul. Keep it on the board. Give the scoring team, the non-offending team, the ball, and let's play on.
That's how it should be played.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I coach at the college level, and when that rule came where they could go in the crease, that's another goal for Babylon.
Riley
Love it.
Bush. Every time you try to tell that story, one of the Bush sisters scores.
No one wants to hear about how I was excited about girls going into the crease.
They love that story. So here comes Babylon, right? Eyes up. Again, similar, just top of the field, feeding the middle. Great cut. Pushes around the contact there. And again, changes levels, shoots it right off the goalie's shin. Back of the net.
I love it. I love it.
Start telling your story now before one of the Bush sisters score.
We are back to a 4-goal game, which I'm excited about.
Yep.
We have a little over 2 minutes. They have scored 2 of these goals in less than 30 seconds apart.
Yeah,
pretty
3 in a
impressive
minute.
for Babylon. And I think that they're being rewarded for the energy that they've put on this field.
Yeah, so that's 3 goals by the 2 Bush sisters in 54 seconds.
Pretty impressive. That's some great high school lacrosse. We're going back to this wrist strength draw with her draw stick, getting that ball down. And Babylon just keeps trying to get it in the back of the net. I love it.
Yeah, under 2 minutes.
I do think that rule is going to be on the high school level at some point.
Yeah,
Hopefully.
I hope so.
It seems like what's been happening. Nice
Good
look.
look.
Right off the pipe.
Oh.
Yeah, let's rewind that. I would love to see that.
Yeah, so he pushes down the alley, right? Strong dodge. Got a little slip inside, right? So her defender leaves to go support the ball. She turns and faces the feeder. Receives the ball, shoots it down and away. Just unlucky. Missed by an inch as she hits the post.
It was a great shot. Great shot. Just a little shy with that pipe in the way. Nice cause turnover by Babylon.
Yeah, nice anticipation. Number 23, Mia
Some great
Jenkau.
transition lacrosse here. Okay, but he's calling her offsides on blue. But
Okay, so they did stop the clock. They lost 5 seconds there, but they did stop the clock.
if you're Babylon right now, you're like, please don't call this because I want momentum to stay.
Yep. Been in those situations.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, but they put time back on the clock. All right, so we're
Okay,
at
so that's
1:05.
helpful.
Yeah, officials doing a good job. I like that. They got numbers on the backside.
Nice
there
look.
it is. Nice
Great
shot. Good look.
Great goal by Babylon.
Got Peyton Loke Boyd with the look, and it looked like that was Lily Crowledge again on the finish.
They stay hot like this, we might be going into overtime.
That would be exciting. But yeah, they had numbers on the backside. You can't see it in the replay right now, but they were 3-on-1 on that backside. Lily decides to cut, which is a really good decision, right? Because Lily cuts. If the defender goes with her, the open girl is going to be behind Lily. Lily was open on her cut. Peyton finds her. Lily makes no mistake, no hesitation, puts it in the back of the goal. 54 seconds, 3-goal game.
So 3 out of these 5 goals were scored in 45 seconds. We have a 54-second game here, so we might be here for overtime. Now this draw specialist here is really placing the ball, and she's been hot. She's been basically 5 draws in a row.
Yeah, if
So-
she wins this, right, coach has a decision to make. Do you let them play, or do you get possession and call a timeout and set something up? Push.
It looks like they're going to award it to Babylon. Babylon looking to transition this ball as fast as possible here. Fastest way to do that is by ball movement. Nice ground ball pickup by number 27.
Throw down.
No time to waste here. They're looking for those seams.
15 seconds. Good
Great
luck.
feed.
Oh, nice one more.
Great
Good
save by the goalie.
So that's a great positional save, right? Goalie tracks the pass, gets big, cuts down the angle.
Great run in this fourth quarter by Babylon. Just shy with West Islip in the lead with 15 for this win. Babylon 12. Some really exciting lacrosse here tonight. This game was brought to you by Lessings Hospitality Group.
Yeah, good lacrosse
Athletes tell
today.
their story every time they step on the field. So why not enjoy the storybooks of American fare and endless cocktails at Library Cafe, where every visit is a new chapter. Visit Library Cafe in Farmingdale from now until June 15th and receive 10% off your next meal when you mention LI Sports.
Jump shot, leave your knee shot? We've got specialists for that. Face down after that face off? We've got specialists for that. Half pipe, leave you full of pain? We've got specialists for that. Orland & Cohen's top orthopedic team has specialized expertise and extensive training from the nation's premier programs in sports medicine, knee, shoulder, hip, spine, hand, foot, and ankle, so you can feel better faster.
This game brought to you by Lessings Hospitality Group. West Islip with the win with 15 and Babylon trailing just a little bit behind with 12 goals. An exciting game of lacrosse today.
Yeah, really exciting game of lacrosse today. West Islip, as we talked about a bunch of times, demonstrated their ability to push the ball offensively, right? Pressure on defense, create turnovers. And what we loved at the end there from Babylon was no quit, right? Tough lacrosse play. And when we talked about those 3 things that you're looking for as a coach, right? Finish strong. What's the locker room like? What's practice look like tomorrow? When you finish a game like that, that's how you want to finish. Locker room's going to be positive, and I'm sure practice tomorrow is going to have a ton of energy.
All right, we have some exciting games sponsored by Orland & Cohen Sports Medicine. Flag football, April 24th. Ward Melville and Sachem East. Longwood versus Sachem North. Cold Spring Harbor versus Farmingdale Dalers. Girls lacrosse on May 2nd. Sponsored by Lessings Hospitality Group, that one. Really, really exciting stuff today.
Yeah, great game. The JV teams are now warming up. They're getting ready to play Babylon West Islip. A good day of lacrosse, competitive lacrosse, 2 well-coached teams. Super excited to have broadcasted this game with you.
Thank you. Appreciate you having me. T&D Sports Video Production. We'll see you soon.